Fix Daily. This is BBC Radio. BBC Radio. Six Music.
Six Music.
This is Six Music's Britpop Forever with Steve Lamacq.
Looking back 30 years ago now, the musical landscape was, as it often is, a reasonably confusing place. We had the remnants of Manchester and shoegazing, not to mention the juggernaut of grunge, which with other American rock music had dictated much of the alternative narrative for the past 2 years. But back home in Blighty, evidence of a new homegrown scene was starting to emerge. We didn't know it at the start of '93, and it would take over a year until it really started to flourish, but Britpop was on the march. A scene that would launch numerous bands into the charts and onto the front pages of magazines and tabloids. It would enable a wave of guitar bands to stride the stage of Top of the Pops, and it would become so big that it sucked in bands to its orbit like unwilling moons. Among them were this band, who inadvertently helped provide a foundation for what was to come, and who seemed at this point to be constantly on tour. It's Radiohead.
Destiny, protect me from the
The 1st of February 1993, Radiohead released their single Anyone Can Play Guitar. Taken from the forthcoming album Pablo Honey, it was the follow-up to their single Creep, which had been released in September '92 when, despite some good reviews, it had reached the dizzying heights of number 78 in the chart. February also saw Pulp release the single Razzmatazz on the 15th, whilst a day later the Brit Awards were broadcast live from the Alexandra Palace in London, with Rod Stewart winning the Outstanding Contribution Award, Annie Lennox walking off with 2 more statues, and there was a first Brit appearance for some new boy band called Take That. Thrown into this rather airless atmosphere, though, were a band who were a very, very late booking for the Brits, but an important one for us. It was the debut Brit appearance by Suede.
Please welcome the already legendary Suede.
Here's Brett Anderson and first Matt Osman.
I mean, it's the music industry at its worst.
Yeah.
It's basically old white blokes in suits clapping Annie Lennox for 2 hours. I mean, it was horrible. Truly just an unpleasant thing. You know, you're kind of stuck on this hill with a bunch of kind of, I don't know, terrible, terrible people. And it was as much about getting in and out as quickly as possible as kind of trying to be outrageous. It was just kind of, God, I don't want to be here.
Yeah, we were talking to the makeup girls most of the night. People thought we'd be hanging out with Peter Gabriel, but we were chatting with the makeup girls, weren't we?
The juxtaposition of a blouse-wearing Brett Anderson slapping his backside with a microphone in front of a row of besooted record company execs may just have hinted at the sea change that was ahead. Already dubbed the best new band in Britain by the Melody Maker, Suede went on to release their single Animal Nitrate just a few days later on February the 22nd, the same day as the release of the Auteurs' debut album New Wave and Radiohead's debut Pablo Honey. There was more to come, though. Now, if you want to cite a starting point for the still unnamed Britpop movement, many critics, myself included, will point to an edition of monthly music magazine Select, who led their March issue with a cover story which attempted to identify a revival in British pop culture. You may remember the cover. It had Brett Anderson superimposed over a Union Jack alongside the headline Yanks Go Home, Suede, St Etienne, Denim, Pulp and the Auteurs and the Battle for Britain. Here's the star of that cover, Brett Anderson, but first, editor of the magazine at the time, Andrew Harrison.
Brett didn't know that there was going to be Union Jack in the background. He has since, I think, forgiven us and me for it. And we ran this cover. I think the headline on the inside was, "Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Cobain?" It was actually genuinely controversial, but you just felt that it was a bit of a turning point, and people were no longer going to be, terrified of looking at the Union Jack in a positive way. And of course, within a couple of years, there's Noel running around with his Union Jack guitar and Jerry Spice in a Union Jack frock. It had all changed, and it really struck a chord. People remembered it, people talked about it because it was bold, but more than that, it was true. It was something that really was happening. Something was coalescing that was, one hesitates to say voice of a generation, but it kind of was. It was what people were thinking.
I've never been happy with kind of running with packs and being seen as part of scenes, to be honest. Personally, I think some people find that, are comfortable with that, and some people aren't. I'm just the sort of person that isn't comfortable with that, really. And being put in boxes and all these things, apart from the fact that being plonked in front of a flag has lots of connotations and implications, doesn't it? I think and also I think the fact that we were superimposed on the front of a flag. If we had been asked to pose in front of a flag, it would have been a different thing, which we would probably have turned down. So, but it's all fun and games, isn't it? It's all part of the kind of the tapestry of the history of what happened at the time, and it's not. We don't have a problem with it now. It's just at the time, it seemed like I think for us we didn't want to be limited to being seen as a kind of a specifically British band, even though that's what we were.
Suede contemporaries Elastica were also busy in March, recording a demo tape for EMI Publishing on March the 10th. And here is one of the tracks from that 93 demo, Elastica and Cos Cos. On the 29th of March 1993, Suede finally released their self-titled debut album, with the New Musical Express giving it a 7 out of 10 review under the banner A Very British Coup. Reviewing the album for Select magazine, where I was reviews editor at the time, I wrote, "It's a very fine, imperfect debut album, not scared to arouse or confront its audience." 4 out of 5 stars.
He's a 20th century boy with his hands on the rails.
In April 93, Oasis played their 3rd ever gig in Liverpool, while on the 5th of April, Pulp were playing a hometown show in Sheffield for Radio 1, on a bill with The Wedding Present and headliners Kingmaker. 3 days later, Suede, on tour supporting their just-released debut album, had to cancel a massive show at London's Kilburn National because they were, becoming too popular. Brett dropped into Radio 1 to explain all to Mark Goodyear.
And we should tackle this subject very briefly. There was a gig last week. It was meant to be last Thursday at Kilburn National, and it had to be cancelled at the last minute. In fact, we only heard on the day that it was going to be cancelled. Presumably you did as well.
I mean, it's a dreadful, dreadful fiasco, and something which we had nothing to do with. It was nothing to do with us. We're trying desperately to get around it. I mean, we were thinking of kind of playing in a van and shifting it to some car park or something. I mean, we were banging our heads against the wall and chewing the paint, trying to get around it, but it was just impossible.
But there will be a rescheduled gig.
Tickets will hopefully be able to be exchanged for tickets for the Brixton gig, which is on the 16th of May.
On the 19th of April, Blur, having spent much of the previous year stumbling miserably around America, released their single For Tomorrow, which featured 2 World War II fighter planes on the cover and was one of the first records of the time to really attempt to revel in a sense of Britishness. Here's Blur bassist Alex James.
I think probably the turning point record was For Tomorrow, which was recorded as an afterthought to Modern Life is Rubbish. But really, that didn't really sound like the Happy Mondays or the Charlatans or the Stone Roses. That was, it had a string section and brass section.
Also in April, Dodgy, who at the time were a kind of garage psych pop band, featured in The NME under the headline Liggy Stardust. While Radiohead continued their tour in support of Pablo Honey by headlining the Wolverhampton Wolfram Hall with support from Strangelove and Superstar. And just for a bit of context, to give you an idea of what else was happening around this point in alternative music, on May the 1st, the lineup for the first ever Phoenix Festival was announced. Held at Longmarston Airfield near Stratford-upon-Avon, it was to be one of the first 4-day festivals in Britain and saw headline performances by Sonic Youth, Hole, Faith No More and the Black Crows. Radiohead, who were billed as second top on the second stage on the opening night, later had to pull out. But Pulp did play that stage beneath Buzzcocks and the Family Cat. Radiohead did, though, release a new single, Pop Is Dead, which came out on May the 10th, the same day as the Auteurs' How Could I Be Wrong, and the arrival of Blur's second album, Modern Life is Rubbish. Wounded by the success and omnipresence of Suede and riled by the impenetrable wave of grunge, Blur had made a record which redefined themselves from their first baggyish LP Leisure. Modern Life was thoroughly and obstinately a British-sounding album. It was the Kinks, Small Faces, British art rock and XTC. It put the mod into modern. No wonder the bosses at Food Records were worried. Before Britpop had a sense of cool and its own tagline, this was an album that was defiantly swimming against the commercial tide. But while the singles stalled just inside the top 30, Modern Life would eventually turn out to be a hugely important record, part setting the tone for what British music would sound like over the rest of the decade and beyond. Here's Alex James on how touring America was the key influence on the album.
Suddenly, American disaffected youth had a voice and a look and a record and everything. It had a star, had the Elvis of its generation. And so we arrived for this massive 13-week tour, skint, and in America, going everywhere and just being completely shut out. And I think we felt a very long way from home. And that was, I think, when we got back to the UK, it was all Nirvana on the front page of the music press here. And I remember the Food Record Company coming down to the middle of recording of Modern Life is Rubbish and saying it was stupid, like British pop. That's absolute. You're mad. You've got to go and re-record this with Butch Vig, who did the Nirvana record. And they said you're absolutely bonkers. This is your last chance. And I've got a letter pinned to my wall at home, which basically is the letter that you get, which is the one that comes as a legal requirement before they drop you, saying, like, British pop, you're absolutely nuts. It was a reaction to that sort of nihilistic Americanisation of British culture. You know, it traditionally does ping-pong back and forward across the Atlantic. And when we launched Modern Life is Rubbish, the first gig that we did at the Hibernian Club next to the studio in Fulham, not one journalist came. The idea of releasing a British-influenced pop record at that time was completely anathema. It was it was so out of step with the times.
So Blur released Modern Life, while in the same month, the bands who would become their arch Britpop rivals were being spotted at a gig in Glasgow. The date is Monday the 31st of May. The location, Glasgow, King Tut's Wah-Wah Hut. The occasion, a band called Oasis and a van load of their mates, making sure that they barged themselves onto a bill for a gig that night, and when they performed to just a handful of people, well, one of those people turned out to be the boss of Creation Records, Alan McGee.
I went along to see 18 Wheeler play. We just went in and we heard that these bunch of scallies were going to smash up the club because they had blagged on to play, just like the Sex Pistols. And I just thought it was funny, but somebody was on a Sex Pistols trip or something. And then there was like 15 kids from Manchester all sitting round a table. And like there was one kid in Adidas, blue and white Adidas, just sitting at the table, and he looked amazing, looked really handsome, and looked like Paul Weller. And I had no idea that this was Liam Gallagher. Anyway, went on up the stairs, and sure enough, this band came on with this kid as the frontman that had already noticed him. He was so confrontational as a frontman that you just thought, God, he's really got attitude. And then they played the first song and it was really good, and I was surprised. The second song happened and it was pretty good. The guitar solo was outrageous, so the guitarist could play. But the third song had already decided I was going to sign them. And then I'm the Walrus. And it was an amazing version. And then about 10 minutes after they came off stage, Noel appeared out like the dressing room. Just went up to him and said, "Oh, do you want a record deal?"
In the real world, newsworthy events of June '93 included the arrival in London of the very first train ever to come from Paris via the Channel Tunnel. For me, though, the most significant event of that summer was seeing Elastica for the very first time on June the 19th. I'd heard the demo, and so I knew some of the songs, including also a version of Vaseline, which I'd managed to get from one of my A&R friends. And following on from this, I managed to squeeze into the tiny back room of a venue called the Camden Falcon. Standing between the PA and the door, I have to admit, I could only actually see two of the band members on stage, but the music that night was just terrific. It was urgent and punchy and fizzed like a can of soda which you'd shaken up before opening. Here's Elastica drummer Justin Welsh.
But it was an incredible gig, you know. There was Steve there was loads and loads of A&R men trying to get in, and you know, I can remember it just being red hot. It was just dripping with sweat in there. The vibe in there was incredible. Everyone seemed to be loving it, even if it sounded rubbish. I've no idea how it sounded.
Also in June, Blur released their Chemical World single, which reached number 28 in the UK singles chart. But it did come back with 3 exclusive tracks, one of which, Young and Lovely, was later hailed as one of the greatest lost tracks by Q magazine. And it was finally played live when the band performed for my show at the Maida Vale Studios in 2012. August continued to be a busy month for Elastica. On the 12th, they headed to the BBC's Maida Vale Studios to record their very first Peel session, and 5 days later, on the 17th of August, Elastica shook hands on a singles deal with the indie label, which I was co-running at the time, Deceptive Records. The venue for this historical agreement, the increasingly famous Good Mixer pub in Camden. A few weeks later, the were on a bill alongside Tiny Munro, Collapsed Lung and Credit to the Nation, while on the 13th, Oasis got to play their home city at the Canal Bar. Meanwhile, playing live in London, the Boo Radleys headlined the LA2, supported by Roller Skate Skinny, and on the same night, across town at the Water Rats in King's Cross, a band called Karate Kid were playing, supported by a new group called Echo Belly. By October, the Radio 1 revolution really was in full swing. Having aged badly for years and stuck with a smashy and nicey image, Matthew Bannister had been entrusted with the task of bringing the station up to date, starting with his first proper reshuffle.
Now, live from 1FM in London.
Well, of course, there is a lot of competition coming along for Radio 1, and we must be aware of that. But my main aim is to maintain this radio station with 18 million listeners a week as the most popular pop and rock music station in the UK. And we need to go forward. We need to maintain its commitment to new ideas, to new talent, and we need to take that forward with the listeners.
As part of these changes, two under-rehearsed and inexperienced DJs, yours truly and Joe Wiley, took over the evening session slot from 6:30 to 9. And a former BBC producer, one Mark Radcliffe, got his own slot at 10 o'clock.
Mark Radcliffe on 1FM.
Tonight, our guest reader is Sonic Youth's Lee Ronaldo. New Order's Peter Hook presents mouth-watering recipes in Cook with Hook, poetry from Ian Duig, and live music from Roger Eno, Kate St John and Bill Nelson's new band, Channel Light Vessel. You know, like the shipping forecast, Channel Light Vessel, Fisher, Dogger, Donner, Blitzen, Nash and Young. See you at 10.
October 1993 saw Oasis touring the UK supporting the BMX Bandits. Well, again in London on the 29th, another new band were making their first tentative steps onto the live circuit as the group formerly known as Surrender Dorothy, Sleeper, played London's Water Rats. Here's Louise Wenner.
Alison, the playground, she ain't got a boyfriend. That's a pity. She is not even pretty.
When you're within something like that, I think it's very hard to recognise. It's almost only you really sort of feel that in retrospect when you sort of step away from it and look back. At the time, it was just like there's loads of bands, lots of female-fronted bands, which felt quite good, getting attention and getting somewhere, and you felt like it could go on forever. At that point, I think it felt like it was just going to run and run, and we were going to take over the world, and all pop bands would disappear, and we would sort of, and people would be dead forever, you know. It would just be us, you know.
In fact, October and November were littered with debut singles, including on November the 1st, the debut Elastica record, Stutter, released on 7-inch only and limited to a run of just 1,500 copies. November 93 was also a big month for Pulp. They kicked off the UK leg of their Lip Gloss tour on the 8th of November before calling in for a hometown show at Sheffield Leadmill on the 20th, just 2 days before this track was released.
There were mourners on the street in every shape and size. The motor kicking down from Redondo. Assassins on the corner tried to throw you alive. Your dirty mouth comic Rodolfo. And that's a left. Valentino reside. Valentino reside. Valentino reside.
December 1993 was absolutely awash with gigs. Sleeper played the London Hybrid Garage on December the 8th, and on the 9th, Radiohead played one of their biggest shows to date at London's Brixton Academy. December also saw Oasis begin a pre-Christmas tour at the Birmingham Institute. Famously, this is the tour where some promoters we've spoken to around the country managed to book the nascent Britpop legends for just £50. Among the dates on the tour were Glasgow on the 2nd and Warwick University on the 4th. To follow these dates, and just 3 days before Christmas, Oasis headed to the Maida Vale studios for the first time to record their debut Radio 1 session, to be broadcast at the start of '94 on the evening session. Booked off the back of a 12-inch promo of their track Columbia, it put Oasis in the perfect place to move their career on in '94. But little did we know then how far that career would go. We'll continue the story in 94 next week.
6 Music. This is BBC Radio 6 Music.
BBC News at 6:30. I'm Catherine Cracknell. A man's been found guilty of murdering a 26-year-old beautician outside a pub on Christmas Eve. Connor Chapman, who had a string of previous convictions, shot and killed Ellie Edwards as he opened fire at members of a rival gang in Wallasey on the Wirral. The victim's father, Tim Edwards, described Chapman as a coward for refusing to look at him during the trial. Detective Superintendent Paul Grounds from Merseyside Police was the senior investigating officer.
Connor Chapman is a despicable individual, and this was absolutely a reckless act. He's shown absolutely no remorse since leaving the scene of the Lighthouse pub. He's disposed and destroyed of key evidence to try to evade capture, knowing full well that he was wanted by police.
The mother of Stephen Lawrence has criticised a decision by the Crown Prosecution Service not to bring charges against 4 retired Met Police officers who investigated the racially motivated attack on her son in London in 1993. Baroness Lawrence said the decision by the CPS was a disgrace and she'd be seeking a review. An 8-year-old girl died after a car crashed through a play area at a school in southwest London this morning. 10 people are being treated in hospital after the incident at the all-girls study prep school in Wimbledon. A woman in her 40s has been arrested on suspicion of causing death by dangerous driving. Our reporter Nick Johnson's been following developments at the scene.
The police wouldn't be drawn any further on what actually happened and what happened with the driver behind the wheel. We don't yet know the condition of the other people still being treated in hospital, but they're clearly saying that this is in the early stages of what they say is a very complex investigation and one that is still moving.
The government's lost its legal bid to prevent the release of Boris Johnson's unredacted WhatsApp messages and diaries to the COVID inquiry. The High Court ruled the chair of the review, Baroness Hallett, had acted rationally in ordering the disclosure of the material. Cricket and Australia have been bowled out for just 263 on day one of the third Ashes Test at Headingley. The tourists lost their first wicket with just the 5th ball of the game on an opening day, which saw England's bowlers shine. The BBC's Daniel Norcross was watching.
Here goes Wood and bowls to him, very full, and he's bowling, played on. Full ball outside the off stump. Murphy went through the drive, through the offside, thick edge onto his stumps, and Mark Wood, where have you been? He's taken 5 for 34, and Australia have been bowled out for 263 in 60.4 overs.
And the Netherlands is to hand back hundreds of valuable artefacts it removed from Indonesia and Sri Lanka during the colonial period. The 484 items include a gem-encrusted bronze cannon. That's 6 Music News. The next update, 7:30.
BBC Radio 6 Music.
It's Britpop Forever, Part 1, from now till 7. Suede in 1993, live at the Glastonbury Festival.
In your next life, when we'll fly away for good. Stars in our own car. From here, far away, so far away. Time to worry and work there. silent snares. See you in your next life, when we'll fly away for good. Hello, it's Swain. Thank you.
Song's called Pantomime Hearts.
As a pantomime heart, ugly as the sun when he falls to the floor. I was cut from the wreckage one time. This is what I got for being that way. Why did you ever go out with them? Why did you ever go out the I was caught by circus hand. Taking in time after time, I will turn to you. And now he has gone, I will turn to you. Now your animal's gone. Well, please, son, we show you his birth and the delights of the comical smile. So in your broken home, you broke all your bones. Now you're taking in time after time. I wanted to hold. And now he has gone. I wanted to hold. Now your animal's gone. What does it take to turn you on? Now he has gone. Now you're over 21. Now your animal's gone. Animal, he was animal. An animal. Animal, he was animal. An animal. It's just an animal. An animal.
Song's called To the Birds.
Looked in the mirror, So many people standing there. I walk towards them into the floodlights. I heard no echo. There was distortion everywhere. I found my ego. I felt Roberto standing there. Found my transcendence. It played in mono, painted blue. You were the hero. I was the dark room. I'm the shining light in your eye. You probably shine it back on me, but I won't fall this time. With Godspeed, I'll heed the sign. I saw the solstice, the service station on the road. I took the acid under the white horses. My heart it quicker. I could not tear myself away. Became addiction. If you see darkness, look away. I'm the shining light in your eye. You probably shine it back on me, but I won't fall this time. With Godspeed, I'll heed the signs. Oh, glorious world. Oh, potent wave, valleys gone wild. Connect us to love and keep us peaceful for a while. I'm a shining light in your eye. You probably shine it back on me, but I won't fall this time. With Godspeed, I heed the sign. I'm a shining light in your eye. You probably shine it back on me, but I won't fall this time. With Godspeed, I'll heed the signs. I won't fall this time. With Godspeed, I'll heed the signs.
It is Blur, which will play for anyone who's going to see either of their Wembley shows this weekend, tomorrow and Sunday at Wembley Stadium. I hope it keeps fine and I hope you have a lovely time. That's Blur, who'll be back on this show actually on July 19th, if you like to put this in your diary. Blur will be talking about their new album, The Ballad of Darren, on the programme, July the 19th. From it, that was The Narcissist. And welcome to Friday's show, our New Music Fix Friday, some of our favourite records of the year so far, and a debut live session from the last dinner party between now and 7.
I need something to pass the time. Moving slowly, it's faster than I like. They're all falling like every leaf I know. Falling in love is
mad round here. It's mad round here. You won't get this twice, I'm telling you now. Some woman slapped me the other day because I wouldn't lend her my lighter. She's got nothing on the neighbour over the road, though. The one who runs around with no clothes on and leaves her sheets on the line for days. Drives my mother insane. Always keep your eyes open, especially when driving, because a man might decide to stand in the middle of the road. Don't assume he's on drugs, but don't dismiss it as a possibility either. Don't question it, just keep driving. And don't look back. No one cares about your problems, or your past, or your present, or your non-existent future. If you want to take the risk, you can, but there'll be your sutures.